Alright, let's talk about the single biggest thing that makes your computer feel fast or slow. It's storage. We're going to break down the ultimate showdown between hard disk drive and solid state drive. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's going on inside your machine. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You click on something and you just wait. Or you turn your computer on and literally have time to go make a coffee before it's ready to go. Well, that lag, that frustrating delay, 9 times out of 10, the culprit is your storage drive. So at the heart of all this are two main players, the classic hard disk drive or HDD and the newer solid state drive, the SSD. Now, they both do the same basic job. They store your files. But how they do it? Well, that's the difference between a clunky old machine and a brand new speed demon. So let's meet our contenders. First up is the Veteran, your old reliable. This is the technology that's been the backbone of computer storage for decades. Let's talk about the hard disk drive. So what's actually happening inside one of these? Well, an HDD is basically a piece of mechanical engineering. You've got these spinning disks, they are called platters, and they are coated in magnetic materials. Then there's a little arm with a read-write head that physically moves, zipping back and forth to find your data. It's all about moving parts. You know, the best way to picture this is to think of a tiny super-fast record player. The spinning platter is like the vinyl record, and the read-write head is the needle. To play a song or, open a file, that needle has to physically move to the right spot on the spinning record. And that right there gets us the main trade-off. The biggest plus for HDDs, you get a ton of storage for not a lot of money. It's cheap space. But the downside comes from all these moving parts. It makes them way slower, and because it's a delicate little machine, they are much more likely to break if you, say, drop your laptop. And that brings us to the new kid on the block. The challenger that has totally changed the game, the solid state drive. This is the tech that makes modern computers feel so incredibly fast, and for a very, very good reason. So here's the key difference. An SSD has absolutely zero moving parts. It's solid state. It uses something called flash memory, which is pretty similar to the tech in your smartphone or a USB stick. And because it's all electronic, getting to your data is practically instant. There's no waiting for this to spin up or an arm to move. Yeah, a really good way to think about an SSD is just like a big, super fast USB stick that's permanently installed in your computer. Plug in a thumb drive and your files are just there right away. An SSD works on that exact same principle. Pure electronics, pure speed. The advantages here are just massive. SSDs are way, way faster. Your computer boots in seconds, programs open in a flash, and since there are no moving parts, they are way more durable. You can even knock them around a bit. They're also smaller, lighter, and use less power, which is great for laptop battery life. The only catch, they tend to cost more for the same amount of storage. So we've met our two fighters. Now, let's put them in a ring side by side and see how they really stack up when it comes to the things you actually care about. I mean, just look at this. This is a perfect example. Computer boot time with an old school HDD. You're waiting and waiting. With an SSD, you're pretty much ready to go instantly. This isn't just a small bump in performance. It's a complete night and day difference you feel every single time you press that power button. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see the split right down the middle. HDDs are mechanical and slower, but they win big on cost. SSDs are electronic, way faster, tougher, and more efficient. But you pay a bit more for that performance. Really, it all boils down to a choice. Are you optimizing for capacity or for speed? So after all that, we get to the biggest question. Which one of these should you actually get? Let's figure out how to make the perfect choice for what you need. Now, before you buy anything, there's a quick practical thing to know. What actually fits in your computer? Drives come in different shapes and sizes called form factors. Big desktop computers usually use the larger 3.5-inch drives. Laptops use the smaller 2.5-inch ones. But the really fast modern SSDs look like a little stick of RAM that's called M2. Just making sure you get the right physical connector is step one. When it comes right down to it, the choice is actually pretty simple. You should choose a hard disk drive if what you need is just massive amount of cheap storage. Think archives of photos and videos or a giant library of games you don't play every day. But you should choose a solid state drive if your top priority is speed. If you want fast boot times and a snappy, responsive computer, an SSD is the single best upgrade you can make. It's a total game changer. And really, that's the bottom line. There's no single best drive for everybody. The right choice is the one that hits that perfect sweet spot between your needs for space, your cravings for speed, and of course, what's in your wallet. It's all about what you want your computer to do for you. And that kind of leaves us with one last really interesting question to think about. For years, this trade-off between cost and speed has been clear. But as SSDs get cheaper and cheaper every year, you have to wonder, are we watching the final days of the mechanical hard drive? Is the future of storage going to be completely solid state? I guess only time will tell.